Vecna's going to betray the Mind Flayer in Season 5. I know that sounds absolutely insane, but once you see the evidence, you'll realize the Duffer Brothers have been setting this up the entire time. And honestly, it's the only way our heroes actually survive. Look, I get it. The guy who murdered kids and tried to merge dimensions is the good guy. But stick with me here, because there's way more going on than meets the eye. The clues are literally everywhere once you know what to look for. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. Vecna isn't actually a typical, irredeemable villain. He's Henry Creel, a manipulated kid who still has buried humanity that the Mind Flayer desperately wants to eliminate. And that humanity is going to be the key to everything in Season 5. Think about every flashback we got in Season 4. Henry wasn't born evil like Voldemort or corrupted by experiments like other test subjects. He was just a sensitive, alienated kid who felt misunderstood by the world around him. The Duffer Brothers specifically wrote him as someone who chose evil but wasn't inherently evil from birth. That's a massive distinction that most people are overlooking. And here's where it gets really interesting. The first Shadow play, which is official Stranger Things canon, shows us young Henry receiving genuine kindness from Joyce and Patty. These moments of a human connection actually reached him. They mattered to him. Even after all the corruption, even after becoming Vecna, those memories of compassion are still buried somewhere inside his mind. But the most telling moment? When Elle appeals to his human side in Season 4. Watch that scene again. For just a split second you can see something flicker across his face. Jamie Campbell Bower played it perfectly. There's a moment where Henry almost breaks through. The monster hesitates. That's not the reaction of someone who's completely lost their humanity. The Mind Flayer hates these moments. You can see it in the red lightning that strikes whenever Vecna shows any sign of his old self. The Mind Flayer chose Henry specifically because corrupting innocence creates the perfect puppet. But here's what's absolutely terrifying about this dynamic. If Vecna still has humanity buried inside him, then everything we think we know about who's really controlling the Upside Down is completely wrong. Because the Mind Flayer didn't just corrupt Henry Creel, it's been playing a much longer game than anyone realized. The Mind Flayer has been manipulating Vecna from their very first contact, making him believe he's in control while actually being the puppet of a dimension-spanning entity. And the evidence for this manipulation is hiding in plain sight if you know where to look. Let's start with the D&D parallels because the Duffer Brothers never include these references by accident. In the original game, Vecna isn't the ultimate villain. Cass the Betrayer is. Cass was Vecna's most trusted lieutenant, a vampire who eventually turned on his master and destroyed him. Sound familiar? The kids literally call our Vecna the 5-star general of the Mind Flayer's army. He's not the ultimate big bad. He's the lieutenant who's destined to betray his master. But here's where it gets really wild. Go back to Season 4 and watch Henry's first contact with the Mind Flayer. It exists as this cloud of particles before he shapes it into the spider form we recognize. Henry thinks he's giving the Mind Flayer its shape, its purpose, its direction. He believes he's in control of this cosmic force. But what if the Mind Flayer was just letting him think that? Think about how the Mind Flayer operates. It's this ancient, dimension-spanning entity that exists across multiple realities. Do you really think it needs a traumatized human teenager to give it direction? Or is it more likely that it recognized Henry's potential and decided to use him as the perfect vessel for its invasions of our dimension? Reddit theories have been pointing this out for months. The Mind Flayer exists in the Upside Down before Henry arrives. It's already this massive, intelligent force, but it needs someone from our dimension, someone who understands our world, to be its general in the war it's planning. Henry Creel, with his psychic abilities and his anger at humanity, is the perfect candidate. But the Mind Flayer made one crucial mistake in its manipulation. It let Vecna absorb the essences of his victims. Every time Vecna kills someone, he doesn't just take their life, he takes their memories, their emotions, their humanity, and all those absorbed souls are now trapped inside his mind, slowly reminding him of what he used to be. Max is still in there. Patrick, Chrissy, Fred, they're all still in there. And in Season 5, they're going to be the voices that wake up the human side of Henry Creel. Because the Mind Flayer didn't just create the perfect puppet, it accidentally created the perfect rebellion from within. Multiple triggers in Season 5 are going to force Vecna to realize he's been used, leading to a Darth Vader-style redemption that's the only way to defeat the true big bad. And the setup for this betrayal has been building across every season. First, let's talk about Holly Wheeler. The Duffer Brothers didn't randomly decide to age her up and give her a major role in Season 5. Holly is going to interact with Vecna's memories in the Mindscape, and she's going to see the real Henry Creel, the kid who was scared and alone and just wanted to be understood. Kids have this way of seeing through monsters to the person underneath, and Holly is going to remind Vecna of the innocence he once had. Then there's Max. She's trapped in Vecna's mind right now, experiencing his memories firsthand, but she's also a constant reminder of the life he's destroying. Max represents everything Henry used to value: loyalty, friendship, the fierce protection of the people you love. Having her consciousness trapped inside his mind is like having a constant moral compass pointing him back toward his humanity. And here's where the Darth Vader parallels become impossible to ignore. Jamie Campbell Bower was literally almost cast as Anakin Skywalker. The Duffer Brothers chose him knowing that connection existed. Just like Vader saved Luke by betraying the Emperor, Vecna is going to save the kids who remind him of his lost humanity by turning on the Mind Flayer. But the catalyst won't just be emotional, it'll be tactical. Vecna is going to realize that the Mind Flayer has been using him as a disposable asset. Think about it. The Mind Flayer gets Vecna to open the gates, merge the dimensions, and soften up our reality for invasion. But once that's done, does it really need him anymore? Or would it be more convenient to absorb his power and rule without any potential complications? Vecna is going to figure out that he's next on the Mind Flayer's hit list. And when he does, he's going to do what any intelligent general would do. He's going to strike first. The internal mind battle is going to be like something out of Hellraiser 3, with Vecna's psyche literally splitting between the monster he's become and the human he used to be. Max and the other trapped souls are going to be fighting alongside human Henry against the Mind Flayer's influence. It's going to be this incredible psychological war happening inside his own consciousness. But here's the kicker. This betrayal isn't just about redemption. It's literally the only way our heroes can win, because the Mind Flayer is too powerful for anyone else to stop. And that brings us to the most important question of all. El, Will, and even 8 combined can't defeat a dimension-spanning entity like the Mind Flayer. They need someone with inside access to deliver the killing blow. And Vecna is the only candidate who can actually pull it off. Let's look at the power scaling here. El struggled against Vecna when he was just one powerful psychic. The Mind Flayer is an ancient cosmic entity that spans multiple dimensions. It's not just stronger than El, it's operating on a completely different level. It's like comparing a superhero to an eldritch god. The categories aren't even close. Hawkins and the Upside Down are merging in Season 5. New threats like the Thessal Hydra are coming through. The Mind Flayer's influence is spreading beyond just our small town. It's becoming a global threat. Our heroes are stuck fighting a defensive battle in one location, while the enemy has unlimited resources from across multiple realities. But Vecna, he's inside the Mind Flayer's inner circle. He knows its plans, its weaknesses, its true nature. If he absorbs the Mind Flayer's power during their confrontation, he becomes strong enough to actually stand against it while still retaining enough humanity to choose to save our world instead of destroying it. Think about Will's role in all this. He's been connected to the Mind Flayer since Season 2. He can sense its presence, its intentions, its movements, but he's not strong enough to fight it directly. However, if Vecna weakens the Mind Flayer from within, Will could deliver the final blow using that connection. It would be the perfect way to complete Will's character arc, from victim to hero. The timing works out perfectly, too. Vecna betrays and absorbs the Mind Flayer around episode 6 or 7, giving him the power boost needed for the finale while removing the real cosmic threat. Then our heroes face off against Super Vecna, who's now powerful enough to be the final boss, but human enough to ultimately choose sacrifice over conquest. It's the only scenario that allows for both an emotionally satisfying redemption arc and a tactically logical victory for our heroes. Because let's be honest, if the Mind Flayer stays in control, our heroes are screwed. The Vader redemption parallel isn't just a cute reference, it's the entire emotional template the Duffer Brothers are following, and the evidence goes way deeper than just casting choices. Jamie Campbell Bower being almost cast as Anakin isn't just a fun fact. It's a deliberate choice by the Duffer Brothers. They wanted someone who could embody that same arc of fallen redemption. Someone who could sell both the monster and the man underneath. Just like Vader, Vecna is going to be triggered by empathy from the people who see his humanity when no one else can. El is obviously Luke in this scenario, the young hero who refuses to give up on the villain, who sees the good that everyone else has written off. But it's not just El. Will and Joyce are also going to play crucial roles in reaching the human side of Henry Creel. Joyce especially, because she showed him kindness in the first Shadow when he was just a scared kid. The Emperor parallel is perfect too. Palpatine manipulated Anakin from childhood, convinced him that the dark side was the only way to save the people he loved, then revealed that he'd been playing a longer game all along. Sound familiar? The Mind Flayer has been manipulating Henry since he was a child, convinced him that destroying humanity was the only way to fix a broken world, and is about to reveal that it never needed his consent for its real plans. But here's where the Stranger Things version gets even more interesting than Star Wars. Vader saves Luke by throwing Palpatine down a reactor shaft. Vecna is going to save our heroes by literally absorbing the Mind Flayer's power and consciousness. He's not just going to defeat his master, he's going to consume it entirely. Billy's sacrifice in Season 3 was the test run for this kind of redemption. The Duffer Brothers wanted to see how audiences would react to a villain finding their humanity at the last moment and choosing to save the people they'd been hurting. The response was overwhelmingly positive, which gave them the confidence to plan something even bigger for Vecna. But Vecna's redemption is going to be different from Billy's. Billy died immediately after his moment of heroism. Vecna is going to survive his betrayal, at least long enough to help our heroes win the final battle. The question is whether he'll survive long enough to actually find peace with what he's done. I already know what half of you are typing in the comments right now. You're probably thinking Vecna controls the Mind Flayer, not the other way around. And yeah, I totally get why it looks that way. When we see Vecna in Season 4, he definitely seems like he's calling the shots. But here's the thing, the Mind Flayer has had literal eons to perfect manipulation. It doesn't need to be obviously controlling Vecna. It just needs him to think he's making his own choices while secretly pushing him toward what it actually wants. Then there's the whole Vecna's too evil for redemption crowd. And honestly, I used to think the same thing. The guy murdered kids, tortured people, tried to end the world, but then I remembered that Vader literally killed children too. He helped blow up entire planets. If Star Wars can redeem someone who committed genocide, Stranger Things can definitely redeem someone who killed 4 teenagers. Some of you are probably wondering why the Mind Flayer doesn't just eat Vecna first. That's actually a solid point, and it's exactly why the timing has to be perfect. Vecna can't wait around until the Mind Flayer gets bored of him. He has to strike during the chaos when it's distracted, fighting our heroes. And yeah, I know they already did the Billy redemption thing. But Billy died to save everyone, Vecna's gonna live to help them win. Completely different vibes. The biggest argument against all this? Maybe it's just too hopeful. This show loves crushing our souls and killing characters we love. But Season 5 is the finale. Sometimes finales get to be hopeful.